Hey guys, it's Ginny Silver. We are doing live EDD Q&A with me, you already know, and Shelly's Millions, who most of you know.
Hello.
Hi, Shelly.
Hi, Ginny. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me on your channel.
You are so welcome. Shelly and I did a test run right before this live, and it was intended to be like a 10-minute test run, and I looked at the timestamp of it, and it was 40 minutes long because we couldn't stop talking. So we are ready to answer your questions. We're going to be trading off. I'm going to answer a question. Shelly's going to answer a question. And we're just going to go back and forth. For today's live stream, I have turned off the donations, also known as super chat and super stickers. I've turned it off so that we are just going to be answering the questions in the chat box. It makes it a little bit easier to get to more of the chat box questions and less of the donations questions, as well as simpler for us to just breeze right through all the questions. So we are going to go ahead and get started up here after I am going to drink of water. All right, let's see. I got to find the 4 o'clock timestamp, which always takes me so long. All right. Oh, and right at the 4 o'clock timestamp is I cannot put this viewer's comment on the screen. Shelly, you know who I'm talking about.
I do. I call him Ben.
Okay, so Ben, I can't put your screen name on the thing, but I'm going to read your comment for Shelly because I know Shelly will want to answer it. I checked my IRS transcripts, and it says I will get refunded from the unemployment tax break on June 7th. Many are June 3rd. Those must be direct deposit. Do you know if it will be a debit card or a check? Shelly, we were just talking about how I just did a video on this. Do you want me to answer that one?
Yeah, actually, I don't know the answer, so I would love to know.
Okay, perfect. So it's going to be sent to you the same method that you received your refund. So if you are used to receiving a direct deposit for your refund, then it should be direct deposited. And if you don't usually receive a direct deposit, then it should come as a check. All right, the next one is for, oh yeah, Shelly, what is it?
Wait, I have a question. What about people, there was a big hang up last time where if you got your money early through a service like H&R Block or TurboTax, there was a delay and it came on a payment card. Is there any of that going on this time around? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't heard anything. So, you know, you and I both know that each other are not tax professionals. So we're kind of just keeping up with this in the news. It's not something that I regularly am informed on, aside from how it pertains to unemployment and some of the more recent stimulus issues. So I haven't heard any issues pop up like that, but I'm sure that if they do, we will hear about it in the news. Sure we will. All right, Shelly, I have a question up on the screen for you from Andrew.
Sure. It says, hi to both of you. I love both of your channels. Thank you, Andrew. Been following since last year. So when is the next quarterly review? Someone told me it will be July 4th. Mass pendings to occur in July, sadly. Yes, that's my understanding as well. So the quarterly reviews are for what are called grandfathered claims, which means a claim over a year old, but it's the same claim. So most of us that are on extension past our benefit year are going to have grandfathered claims. And that does mean we're going to do a quarterly review in July. And I don't think they notify anybody about that. It just kind of gets stuck pending. Once you're stuck pending, that is your cue to call the EDD. And Jenny, feel free to chime in if I ever get it a little off.
I'm feeling really upset about the quarterly reviews because it's something that's not anywhere on the website. It's not in their Twitter. Of course, they don't reference it in their videos, but it's happening to a significant number of people. So it's something that's upsetting me that they're not addressing. And it's something that I brought up to them when I tried to contact them. And I've been back and forth with this media team that unfortunately hasn't been very helpful. Right. Yeah. All right. Scotty Crook at 4 o'clock. Hello, Jenny and Shelly. Thank you for always dedicating your time. You're very welcome. Thank you for your support. All right. Let me get a question here. Linda at 4 o'clock says pending issues will be fixed by summer. I am worried because quarterly reviews would mean adding more pending issues to an already huge mountain of pending issues. I think it will be a total mess. So there's a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people in the news stating that end of summer date, saying that the EDD has stated that they will finish pending issues by end of summer. We first heard this when the EDD director in a hearing stated that she estimated it would be around the end of June that they finished got caught up with the backlog, and it wasn't clearly defined what she meant. Next thing we heard was end of summer. However, we have 11 million work items listed in the May revision of the budget, which they estimated would take the EDD 3.5 years to complete. And if they give them the new budget that they are allocating to them in the May revision, it will take them a year to complete. Now, that is 11 million work items of various different things. So some of those are pending payments, some of those are other internal work issues. But I don't trust this end of summer thing that people are spreading around. It's another estimation. You're right, exactly right. There's growing problems that are compounding on each other. So I don't think that that is going to be an end all be all, most definitely. So I want to just hammer home for you guys, if you're pending, if it's not a benefit year issue, if you're within your benefit year for UI, PEUC, or Fed Ed, you're not waiting on that initial third-party fraud review to pass through, and you're pending, be adamant about calling into customer service and trying to get it pushed through from pending to paid. Be adamant about contacting your assembly members, and Michael can drop the link in the chat, because they're not going to get pushed through automatically for quite some time, unfortunately. All right. All right, Shelly, this one's yours.
I got an email saying they have to wait to see if I qualify for Fed PEUC, but to certify for the benefits. I did that and still nothing. So that's something that Jenny was just saying. So if you've been certifying and you're stuck on pending, it's time to call them to find out why and see if they can push those payments through.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Linda at 4 o'clock. On extension, benefit year ended, filed a new claim, waiting for it to process, still getting extended weeks available to certify. Best to hold off until new claim kicks in. Otherwise, won't migrate and end up in pending. Okay, so if you're on an extension, your benefit year ended, you filed a new claim and you're waiting for it to process. If you are going to be awarded a new claim, you know that you worked, you know that you earned income, then yes, you're exactly right on that, because if you're going to be awarded a new claim, those old certifications are going to be stuck in pending and won't migrate over, most likely. If you know that you're not going to be awarded a new claim, if you didn't work at all, you will eventually be awarded an extension on that old claim after you were first denied a new claim, and then you'll receive an extension letter. So it kind of depends on your situation. But if it were me, if I knew that I was going to be awarded a new claim, I would personally wait to certify on that. But if you do choose to certify, what you need to know is that you will need to either request your new claim to be backdated on Ask EDD, and you can try that way. Not 100% that it will be backdated successfully that way, or you are going to anticipate that you're going to need to call into customer service. All right. Shelly.
Had regular UI, applied for a new claim, got awarded the extension, but then my weekly and overall balance got lowered. I'm assuming I got a new year, but I've been pending for 7 weeks waiting for a phone interview. So yeah, in my opinion, it sounds like if your benefit amount is lowered and you never got a letter saying that they were going to keep you on the extension, it sounds like maybe you were on Fed Ed before you got awarded your new claim. But if you're pending for 7 weeks, even with a phone interview, I would recommend calling, because I'm seeing a lot of my viewers say that when they call and explain what's going on, that sometimes the reps can go ahead and push it through. And 7 weeks is a really long time to be waiting for that phone interview.
Phone interviews are really killing me right now. They're not killing me, they're killing you guys. And it's bothering me. So this is one that the phone interviews are one thing that I really want to see picked up more in the media. How long it's taking. It's a really big problem. All right. Lynn at 402, they just okayed you. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm assuming that means that you're getting paid. That's really great. All right, Leonardo at 402, I had a $0 balance for 2 months, called in and was able to certify, pending for a week, called and they said I have to wait 10 weeks for an interview due to overpayment in June and October 2020. Any idea what I should say on the interview? Okay, so you have to do a phone interview due to an overpayment. What was the reason for overpayment? I'm curious. Let me know, Leonardo, let me know in the chat because I'm looking down here. So you're going to answer honestly on your phone interview. Answer honestly. Know that in order to be eligible to receive benefits, you must be able and willing to accept full-time work. So your answers need to support that. And your answers also need to be honest and upfront. So I'm not quite sure why you were issued an overpayment, but you have to wait 10 weeks for a phone interview. It's an extremely long time. Contact your assembly member would be the thing that I want to see you do right away, because any longer than 2 weeks is what I'm telling people to contact their assembly member for. Problem isn't solved in 2 weeks. Contact your assembly member. They might not necessarily be able to get you a faster interview time, but it is worth it, and it is in case that they can help push it along. And it's also worth it in terms of bringing it to the forefront of their pile of issues that they're seeing regularly, so that they know what to do with that. Okay, Shelly, that one's for you.
All right. I have an appeal due to my ID verification. Do I really have to appeal? Also, I can no longer certify. So if you've already set the wheels of an appeal in motion, as far as I know, you can't stop the wheels turning on that once you start the appeal. So yes, if you've already started the process, you do need to do that. However, you only usually have 10 days to respond to request an appeal. If you're within your 10 days and you haven't started the appeal process, I would try and call the EDD and see if there's any way that they can clear up your issues without having to go through the appeal process, because the appeal process can be a really, really long time. And if you're not able to certify, again, that's something that you have to call the EDD about. I hate that that's the answer to so many of the questions, but it just is.
Yeah. All right. Richard, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Okay. Hello. All right, Mike D. If I get approved for a new year, how long will it be for? So if you're approved for a new year of unemployment benefits, a brand new year for UI, because PUA will be ending September 4th, then you would be approved for the 26 weeks that are allotted to regular UI claims. After that, if your 26 weeks won't end by September. So PEUC is going to be out of the question at that point in time. But next, you could potentially qualify for Fed Ed following that. If you qualify for Fed Ed and if the unemployment rate in the state of California remains high at 6% or above. It can also be a little bit lower and be in the 5.5% range with a more complicated calculation that I go over in a Fed Ed video that is on my page. So if you want more info on that, you can double check with that. Grumpy Cat says the cat has arrived. I'm very glad to hear that. Grumpy Cat, I remember yesterday, you also asked if this was the line to the Metallica concert, which I enjoyed that comment. Rocky, thank you very much. John Smith, this is for you, Shelly.
I still have 8 weeks pending. That is terrible. And again, like Jenny said, a really great resource is reaching out to your assembly members, and Michael, he'll link that in the chat for everybody. And I know that we both have it linked in the descriptions of our videos as well. And it is a really great resource. I like to not just recommend contacting them, but specifically reaching out to them by email. Because if you do it by email instead of a call, and someone could pretend that they didn't get the call, for example, if you do it by email, you're going to have a written trail of the date that you reached out to your assembly member and exactly what their response was to you when they replied. So that's the method that I prefer specifically. And then of course, try calling the EDD, because 8 weeks is a long time to have pending. You can also try Ask EDD or Contact Us. They keep claiming in their news releases that they've improved those services, but I have not had a lot of reports that those have been successful.
Okay, Victor Vargas at 406. Hello, I was granted my backdating claim, but it keeps saying outstanding. Will that change? So when it says outstanding, usually that means that they mailed you a check. So I would be on the lookout for a check to arrive in the mail. Sometimes the EDD will switch their method of payment for you, especially if you are kind of in a situation where they suspect that you might be fraudulent. Not necessarily that you are fraudulent, but you have one of the triggers, such as living in a house with more than one unemployment claim, et cetera. Sometimes they will switch you over to check so that they have to have that extra step to verify you before you can cash it. So outstanding means a check. So I do think that you should be looking out for that in the mail. If it doesn't come in 2 weeks, then I would contact them. All right. Shelly, 4:06 p.m. Go for it.
I have already filed my new claim and I've been waiting for payment. The status is pending and my 3 weeks will be next week. Should I wait to see if they will pay me or should I call then? After the 3-week process, now it's my understanding that third-party review after filing a new claim can take anywhere from 2 all the way up to 6 weeks. But from what my viewers have told me, after about week 3, they've had some success calling the EDD and having them push through payments. And if you need to do that, I also recommend specifically saying I'm having a financial hardship because I haven't been paid in 3 weeks. Sometimes that seems to unlock some extra resources from them to go ahead and push those payments through. And again, the assembly member.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Gilbert at 407. Talk about the ATM fraud and crooks stealing our earned money. Okay, so the ATM fraud. So this stretches beyond just ATMs. If you have a B of A EDD debit card, don't keep money on it. Do not keep money on it. Don't keep a balance on it. Transfer it all out. Transfer it to a personal account. But Ginny, I don't have a personal account. Make a personal account, transfer it out. There's extreme issues with the lack of fraud protections on the cards because they only have a magnetic strip. They do not have chip technology. So what that means is if you swipe it at a gas station, if you swipe it at a drugstore, et cetera, anywhere that you can walk up and swipe, an ATM machine, a scammer can walk up to that machine afterwards and they can use a skimming device to insert in there and extract data. That's why we have such a high level of fraud on these cards, which is leading to them being frozen by Bank of America. Now, I released a video, was it? Yeah, I can't even keep track of my videos. Yesterday, 2 days ago, about the most recent ruling. Well, it's not a ruling, it's a preliminary injunction that has been issued by the federal judge who is presiding over the class action lawsuit from EDD, debit card holders, and Bank of America. Now, the preliminary injunction is basically an order to stop something during the duration of the case. It can be moved to be a permanent order, but it's temporary currently until the case is finished. And what they ruled is that the EDD cannot freeze anyone's card simply based on their automatic fraud detection software. If something triggers it, they can't immediately freeze your card currently. They have to investigate it and they have to send you a written notice on it before they proceed with that. So it's a big problem. Hopefully steps are being made to fix it. There's also money in the budget allocated for setting up a direct deposit as an option. But that budget has to be voted on and passed. So there's steps going in the right direction, but it's not enough right now. So do not use those cards. All right. All right, Shelly, that's for you.
Did you gals hear about the third CARES Act extension? It's going to be labeled PEUY. So some of us are already in the middle of what a rep will call PEUY. So that third CARES Act extension, it's already been approved. That's the 29-week PEUC extension. The 11-week PEUC extension was called PEUX, so XYZ in the alphabet. So this third one's PEUY. If you talk to a rep, if you look under your payment type, it would say extension tier 2. And then of course the 29-week extension is not going to last a full 29 weeks because it's going to end the week ending September 4th. So yes, heard a lot about it.
Okay, I had to refresh my screen, so give me a sec to scroll back up. All right, you guys, as a reminder, we can never get all of the questions in the chat. Usually on a live stream, we get about 2,000 messages in that range. So we do have to skip around, but we try to get as many as we possibly can. So if we skip over yours, re-ask it every 15 minutes, okay? All right, I am at the 4:11 timestamp, and Patrick says you need to let the reps to clear it through. Finally got it today. I'm assuming you mean you're pending push to paid, which I'm really glad that you got through and hopefully got it fixed. All right, Ghost Rider says that Shelly is a queen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. SXSW says, when will they get to my unemployment refund? I filed in February. Okay, so it sounds like you filed in February, and then we have the $10,200 worth of unemployment benefits that are to be untaxed on the federal level, and in California, we don't have state taxes on those either. And you already filed, so you're waiting for a refund. I did a video yesterday, and it's linked in the video description. Michael can post it in the chat for you. And it shows how you can check and see when the IRS has scheduled you to receive that refund. The IRS is first processing simple tax returns, which they were pretty vague in stating that. But in essence, what they implied by that was they said if you filed single, not married filing jointly, and you didn't have any complicated tax elements. So they were kind of vague, but they're processing those individuals with their $10,200 untaxed refund first, and then they're going to move on to married filing jointly. So watch that video because I walk you through the exact steps to go to irs.gov, pull the right kind of transcript, and then once they have processed it and scheduled it to go out, they put the date in the transcript. So you can just keep checking there, and you'll be able to see the date of when it is scheduled. If you don't see a date yet, do not panic. They're going to continue to, well, you might panic because you might be having a hard time, but they're going to continue to roll these out over the next several months. So if you don't see a date scheduled there yet, then continue to double check, triple check, quadruple check. I already did that one. All right. All right, Shelly.
All right. Finally, they paid me after 5 months. That is great news all the way back from January 2nd. But my last payment was 11/15 of 20. My question is, they owe me or not for those weeks? 11/15/20 was my end of the year. I would think that they would owe you for that, but it's probably going to be a lot of work to get that money. I would definitely recommend calling a rep and then the Ask EDD feature for back pay on that. That would be my guess on that. Jenny, is that your take on that as well?
Typing comments in the chat box.
Okay.
Finally, they pay me after 5 months from what due. The last pay was 11/15. Question is, they owe me, not for those weeks. The way that you wrote your question is a little confusing to me, but I see that you're a channel member. So what I'm going to tell you to do instead is following this live stream, I'm going to post my members only community post where I ask for questions from those who are channel members. So go over to the community post for that. And because you're a member, I want you to add your question there, and then I'll give you personal attention on that question later tonight so that I can more thoroughly understand what you're asking. All right. It is the Ginny and Shelly show. Yes, it is. I'm trying to talk Shelly into doing a, am I going to embarrass her? Into doing a dating show. Because I want to host date Shelly's Millions. All right, Courtney, at 4:13, I was able to certify for the 8 weeks, still have a zero balance. They said I need to wait a week for there to be a balance, but my weekly amount changed. Okay, so if you certified for 8 weeks, you have a zero balance. You need to wait a week for the balance. Are you getting a new claim or are you having your old claim extended? If you're getting a new claim awarded to you and that's the award letter that you received, then in about a week, you should have that claim updated. Now, you said that your weekly amount changed. That kind of hints to me that you were awarded a new claim, because if you were awarded an extension, then your amount wouldn't have changed. You would have just continued to finish up that extension or receive a PEUC extension on that old claim. So I think you were awarded a new claim. You will need to wait a week However, once the balance is there, if you certified 8 weeks on an old expired claim, I would not anticipate those weeks to migrate over to your new claim. Typically, what happens is if you certify on an expired claim, those pending certifications do not migrate on their own, and you have to either request it through Ask EDD. You can try it there, though I can't guarantee that they will process it there, or you need to contact customer service in order to have them migrate them over and include them on your new claim for you. All right. Shelly, 4:13 p.m.
The pending barley started this Monday for me. Will it fix this coming week? Oh, barely. The pending barely started this Monday for me. Will it be fixed this coming week? So Monday was a holiday, but usually if you're just pending because of the holiday, that would have cleared up by today, Thursday. So I would probably go ahead and call them. If you haven't filed your new benefit year or your new claim since your benefit year ended, you would still need to do that. But whatever the reason is you're pending, probably need to call them to find out why and get it fixed.
All right, Gloria at 4:13. Customer service is a total joke. For my first claim to be submitted, it took 1.5 months. Now my 12 months is over. Need to refile, but can't get through any of the phone numbers. Okay, so 2 parts to this. You need to file a new claim. You can do this online. You don't need to call into customer service to do this. So if you want to do it online, you can. What you should anticipate is that once you file a new application, it's going to take up to 3 weeks for them to process it. And then if you are not awarded a new claim, you're going to first be sent a letter denying that claim. It's going to say invalid and $0. And then following that will be an extension letter. Now, if you do want to call in and you really want to do it over the phone, Michael is going to post the link to all the call tips in the chat box. So Michael's going to post a link to a video on a phone trick on how to get through. It works I'm still getting like 50% positive feedback. Shelly, are you getting people still saying that it works?
Yeah, but I honestly can't tell if it's just like luck of the draw that the tip works. You know, if you call so many times, you'll eventually get through anyway. I do still get reports that the tip works, but I get a fair amount of reports that the tip doesn't work as well. But it's my opinion that it doesn't hurt to try it.
Yeah, I think it's affected by day of the highly packed call times as well.
Yeah.
So Michael's going to post that tip to try. Michael's also going to hopefully post 25 phone numbers to try to call the EDD, which is a video I did last week. It's it's not all of them. It's a lot of the branch phone numbers. It's different departments and things like that. So if you have an ID problem, etc., for those of you, not this question, but try all of those phone numbers and see if you can get through. Additionally, you can contact your assembly member if you can't get through. But if you're willing to pay $15, Claimer works to get you to a hold line. So Claimer is a service where you pay them $15 if you use one of our links, and Michael can drop Shelly's Claimer link in the chat box. And they redial for you, and essentially their customers line up, and then once they get a hold line, they send it back to you. It works, and if they drop your call, then they redial for you. Now, that's not a fit for everyone, and I don't think that it should be I broke my computer. I don't think that it should be something that you have to do to get through, but if you are someone that wants to use it, that does work. So you can also try that. So that's a lot of options for you.
And it is an affiliate link. So if you use the link, since they're going to share my link, I would get payment for you using the affiliate link. We're both pretty upfront about that.
Okay, we got little G. Shelly, this one's you.
Hi, both of you. Why do we get quarterly reviews? Is that why my latest extension is only 11 weeks instead of 22 weeks? I got awarded my new extension, but it's only for the 11 weeks. Any idea why? So that's a lot of questions all rolled up in one. So it's my understanding that for the quarterly reviews, the EDD is still looking to see if you've done any work since you first filed your original claim. So the quarterly reviews are on claims that are on extensions that are older than a year old, grandfathered claims. So they're looking to make sure you haven't done any work and that you wouldn't qualify for a new claim. That's my understanding of what they're for, although they haven't been really upfront about it. But that's the best I can figure. Now, on the 11-week extension, that's because now on PEUC, and this is funny, when all this was happening, I got a little confused and Jenny straightened me right out, but now the flow of all the PEUC extensions is once you go through your 26 weeks of regular unemployment, you would first get 13 weeks of PEUC. Then after that, you would get 11 weeks of PEUC. Then after that, you're going to get a letter that says you'd get 29 weeks of PEUC, but it's not going to last you 29 weeks. Even if you get a letter that says you're getting 29 weeks, you're only getting it through September 4th. So you're going to use up this 11-week extension. When your claim balance hits 0 after the 11 weeks, it's possible you would see the maximum benefits paid message. After that, your claim balance is going to stay at 0 for 2 weeks until you certify again, and then it should automatically reload with the next extension that would take you through September 4th. Although it's the EDD, and even though the next extension should be automatic, you may have to call to get it to push through. All right.
Okay, I'm like the kid in high school class who's like hiding their phone and texting under there in the chat box.
No.
Okay, let's see. Boris at 4:15. My wife certified the 2 weeks. It's pending for 2 weeks. Now can't get a hold of the EDD. Okay, so if she's certified for 2 weeks and it's pending, can't get a hold of the EDD. Watch my pending video that Michael can link it in the chat. It's also on my channel homepage. I go through like a big flow chart of many of the reasons why you might be stuck in pending. Essentially, if you are outside of your benefit year, 12 months after your claim start date on UI, PEUC, or Fed Ed, claim start date, 12 months out. If you're beyond that, then she needs to file a new claim, and she's pending because she's certifying on an expired claim. Additionally, if she has a new claim, brand new claim recently awarded, and the first certifications on that new claim are what's pending, she's going to continue to be pending because the EDD first sends out her claim to a third-party company known as Thomson Reuters, who does additional fraud checks. Until they complete that additional fraud check and send the claim back, those certifications are going to be stuck in pending. It usually takes up to 3 weeks, and that's what the EDD states online. However, if she's pending beyond 3 weeks, then call into customer service. Everything else beyond that, unless there is an issue where they're requesting additional documentation, requires you, unfortunately, to call into customer service. So call into customer service, but you say you can't get a hold of them. So hopefully you saw the tips that we just shared on how to call in, how to contact your assembly member, etc. So view those links. And if you still can't get a hold of them, if you want to use Claimer, you can try that, but contact your assembly member because they've been very, very helpful at getting people pushed from pending to paid. So they can't fix everything, but specifically within the last several weeks, I've had a lot of subscribers report back that they have been fixed because they contacted their assembly member. All right. Scrolling down. I am at the 419 timestamp. Shelly, there you go.
All right. Adam says, after 8 weeks of pending, I contacted my assembly person. A week later, all payments were released. And then this last week, my weekly benefit amount was restored to the full amount before having to refile and back paid. So that all just sounds like great news. It sounds like the weekly benefit amount has gone up and that your payments got paid. So sounds great. I'm very happy for you.
Okay. Anna at 419, where is my unemployment refund? How do I know if I'm getting a refund? Okay, so Michael, can you link yesterday's video? It's in the video description on how to check your IRS transcript for the $10,200 tax benefit refund. That's going to show you exactly how to check and see if you are scheduled for a refund, but it's not going to tell you if you are receiving one if they haven't scheduled it yet. So once they have scheduled it, you'll be able to see it there. Now you'll know that you will receive one if you filed income taxes for 2020 before they implemented those changes in either tax software or with the IRS. Now, the first $10,200 of your unemployment benefits for tax year 2020 are to be untaxed on the federal level if your AGI is below $150,000. So if that's you, then that first $10,200 of your unemployment benefits are untaxed. Now, if you already filed your taxes before this was implemented, then you would have paid taxes on that. So if you're in that camp, those are the individuals who are going to be receiving that refund. Linda, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And Michael, thank you. Michael, I remember you were gone for a while on my channel and I noticed that you were missing. You've been here a long time. I appreciate you. All right. You're very welcome. Hello. It's just a bunch of chat. Hi, guys. Okay. All right, Shelly, this one's for you.
I haven't been paid since July 4th of 2020. I have not received any of my funds. I have lost my place. I am now homeless and I don't know what to do due to fraud. First of all, I'm really sorry that you're going through that. You have, if in your situation, definitely reach out to your assembly member and definitely let them know that you're having financial hardships and see if there's anything that they can do to help you get paid faster. Also, I've heard that Catholic charities are a very good resource. You don't have to be a member of the Catholic faith. Sometimes they have funds that can help you. There might be grants in the industry you used to work in. And I like to search grants, state of California, and then the county you live in, like Los Angeles, and then the city you live in, like Pasadena. So like grants, restaurant worker, California, and see if anything pops up. And I would do the same thing for like rental assistance and housing assistance, or short-term housing or affordable housing. Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, there's one thing. The California Treasury Secretary has a whole big list. It's like a Google Doc that they keep updating with available grants and housing, etc. When this video is over, and sorry, I'm inserting this here to remind myself. When this video is over, I'll post a link to that document in the comments. So check back here for that, and I'll look it up. Okay, continue, Shelly.
Yeah, and just keep being persistent, because I have been hearing stories of people saying, I've been pending 5 months and I finally got paid. So keep trying to call them. Don't give up hope. Know that I'm rooting for you. I'm sure Jenny's rooting for you too to get those payments paid. Yeah, and just stay on top of it and don't lose hope.
Okay. All right. Joseph at 425. If I applied for a job and decided I don't want it, will EDD find out about it? How do I turn it down without being dinged? Okay. So here it is. If you turn down employment and it is suitable employment, then you are technically not eligible to receive unemployment benefits. Suitable employment is not clearly defined. So at this point in time, we're anticipating the Department of Labor to release a statement on what suitable labor is, because there's several worker advocacy legal agencies that are calling on the Department of Labor to define this. So at this point in time, it's not clearly defined. But if you turn away work, you might be deemed ineligible. So I can't tell you how to circumnavigate that, because I always advocate for being honest and upfront in your answers. And if those answers do deem you as being ineligible, then unfortunately that's what you'll be facing. But if you are turning down the work because it is not something that is a skill that you have, something that you would do well in, it's not an area of expertise, it has challenges such as its unsafe working conditions with the pandemic, your children are still not back to school, etc., then that's not turning it down because you don't want it. That would be reasons due to the pandemic. So answer honestly, but if you are turning down work, just make sure that you're willing to accept the consequences that are to follow with that. Okay, all right, Shelly, this is for you.
All right, Michael. I watched a video last night and I tried to get through to the IRS website to check my $10,200 refund, but they were having issues verifying my phone number, which I've had for over 10 years through Verizon. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of tips. My number one tip would probably be to see if you can log on from a laptop or a desktop. That's one of the tricks that seems to work for ID.me. So maybe it would work on the IRS website as well. Maybe it was like a glitch in the system. Try again today. Other than that, I'm not sure I have any tips for how to best check that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna reject you, unfortunately. And because it's something where if you request it to be mailed, you can request a transcript to be mailed, but it might not necessarily have the date issued on it yet. Or it might arrive before the transcript arrives. So I think you might be out of luck with that one, unfortunately. But yes, try that and see if that works. Okay. James Scott at 426. Hello, ladies. Still on extension on PEUC and benefit year. I actually talked to an actual EDD person at the real EDD number. She told me I would be able to physically certified. Oh gosh, I'm confused by how you worded it. Let me see what I can figure out here. So you're on an extension, and in your benefit year. She told you that you would be able to physically certified and you're not able to. So I think you're having a problem accessing your certifications would be the issue. If you are within your benefit year and you're awaiting an extension to be awarded to you, and that's why you can't certify, you should reach 0. And then a week after that, you should receive an award letter for the next phase of the extension. After that, about a week later, you should then receive the balance and the ability to certify. Sometimes the balance comes right after you certify, and sometimes it comes before. So if that's the problem, then that's the time frame. If you're waiting longer than 2 weeks, then I would call back in and try to get a different representative. If you have that balance there, you're already extended, and you're just not getting the certification button, because I've heard people report that problem this last week a lot. You can try using telecert, but if you're PEUC, I don't believe that you can telecert for pandemic-related programs. So you can request paper certifications if your certifications aren't loading properly from the EDD. You can do that through Ask EDD, I believe. Right, Shelley? It's Ask EDD for certifications, I think.
I believe so. And
Okay.
my boss did paper certifications for a long time, and they didn't really take him any longer to get paid than it was taking me to do it online. So,
yeah. Okay. All right, Shelley. This is at 427.
PAC is every week. How come I'm only getting it once a week? So I'm wondering if you're maybe certifying every week. And I'm not really sure. Jenny, I've actually been meaning to ask you that. Have you figured out what's causing people to have to certify weekly instead of, yeah, I haven't either.
It's weird. Like, I'm just glad that they're able to certify in general. So I haven't looked into it too much because to me, that's better than having to wait. So I'm not sure.
I will say there is a couple times throughout your claim that could happen, and that's at the end of those PEUC extensions, each one of them, the first one, PEUX, PEUI, whatever they're calling them, because those all end in an odd number of weeks. So you'll certify for 2 weeks, and then you'll certify again the very next week because it's left with an odd week out, essentially. But it shouldn't happen week after week, but for some people it seems to be.
Okay, Josie at 428. If I finish my UI benefits in less than a year, no, the fan is starting. I hate this fan. Sorry, if I finish my benefits in less than a year, what's the next step, or what category will I be in next? Okay, so if you finish them, do you mean your benefit year ends, or do you mean you reach 0? If you are within your benefit year for UI, PEUC, or Fed Ed, which is your claim start date and count 12 months out. If you're within that benefit year and you reach 0, next you're going to receive a PEUC extension. You're going to reach 0, and then about a week later, you're going to receive an award letter. That award letter is going to award you the PEUC extension, which comes in 3 different phases. Essentially, the PEUC extensions across the different phases will take you up to claim week ending September 4th, at which point in time the PEUC program ends. Now, if your benefit year has ended, you are outside of those 12 months worth of benefits and your claim ends, then you have to file a new claim when you reach the end of your benefit year, if you're UI, PEUC, or Fed Ed. Now, with that being said, the EDD recently released a press release stating that they will soon automate the refiling of a new claim on an expired claim if you didn't work within the last 18 months. So you most likely, depending on when your claim ends, if your claim ends before they start up that new automation, then you will have to refile a new claim regardless. So you'll have to file a new claim. If you reach the end of your benefit year and that new automation is in place, which watch our channels and we'll tell you when it is, then if you didn't work within the last 18 months, then it will be automatically refiled for you if you didn't work within the last 18 months for an extension of your old claim. Is a complicated answer, and there's even more that goes with that, but I feel like it's time to end that answer because it's just so much confusing, complicated things. Okay, Shelly, go for it. Hold on, Shelly. I think we muted Shelly. Hold on.
No, I muted.
Hey,
Sorry,
hey, Shelly,
I
start
muted
over
myself.
again.
I muted myself and forgot to unmute myself. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I think we got it now. We're all set.
My neighbor has a gardener, and I was worried you guys can hear it, so I muted myself. Anyway, okay.
It's okay. I unplugged my mic yesterday.
Technology. Okay. I filed NC, now 8 weeks pending. Your take. Also, what about filers who are HOH with dependents? Will they receive a federal refund as well? So this one's a little confusing to me.
Do the first question, Shelly, and then I'll address the second one, which I can't quite have an answer for. I'm not
sure what NC is. A new claim. I'm slow. It took me a minute. Okay, so you filed a new claim and now you're 8 weeks pending. The third party review should be done. So my take would be that you need to call the EDD to push those payments through at this point, or reach out to your assembly member and see if they can help you get those payments pushed through to paid at this point. And whenever you're speaking with both of them, I would mention that you're experiencing financial hardship since you haven't been paid in the last 8 weeks. And then HOH. What is HOH?
Okay. No, I know. That's head of household. So you're asking, sorry, I lost the next question. Okay, or I lost the prior question, but I remember it. So if you're head of household with dependents, do you qualify for the federal refund? I'm assuming that you're talking about the $10,200 worth of unemployment benefits that are to be tax-free on the federal level. And if you filed your income taxes before that was implemented, people are getting a refund. I'm assuming that's what you mean by refund. But you could also mean something else because there's a lot of federal programs right now. So can you clarify for me in the chat box down below? Is that what you mean? That's the one I'm going to answer. Dependents aren't going to affect your ability to collect that benefit on those unemployment benefits being untaxable. So yes, if you're head of household, you qualify. If you have dependents, you qualify. What will disqualify you from being able to collect a refund from already paying your unemployment taxes on that $10,200 will be if you have an AGI that is above $150,000. So dependents don't matter. Filing status doesn't matter. You have to have that AGI cap met. That is what matters. Okay, Gabriel, it's easy to get through with your cheat. I think you mean the 1, 3, 4. I'm glad that you got through with that. Michael, thank you very much. Okay, scrolling down. You're very welcome. All right, Chris at 4:31. I'm waiting for my extension letter. I got the claim invalid response when I reapplied. Then the debit card and claim filed letters. What does the extension letter say? How long should I wait for it? Okay, so if you reapplied and then you got the invalid claim notice denying that claim, about a week later, you should receive an extension notice, and it'll say that you qualify to have your old claim extended in a matter of wordy EDD language. So I've not memorized it. I do not plan to, but that's what it says. It says you qualify to have your old claim extended on a PEUC extension. You should wait about a week after you receive that denial invalid claim notice, and then it should come through about a week later, and then the balance usually follows about a week after that, but it varies. If you don't receive it within 2 weeks, that's when I would start calling into the EDD. All right, scrolling down. I am at all right, you guys, we do have to skip around in the chat box because we get a lot of questions. So we try to get as many as we can, but we can't get all of them. So if I skip over where you entered your question, you can re-enter it every 15 minutes. Okay, let's see. Shelly, 437, there you go.
I keep getting page not found for my account and the account for my stepdad. What's going on? Are they fixing our pages so that we will finally be paid? That sounds like a login issue that's probably just temporary that should fix itself. If that's still happening 6 hours later, then I would call the EDD.
Okay.
That's my tip on that one.
Yep. The other thing is that when you call EDD, if the page not found does usually go away, but instead of calling customer service, call tech support. And I have the tech support phone number, which is different from customer service, in the 25 phone numbers to call EDD video. Michael, can you link that in the chat, please? Because it will save you a lot of time. That is also the phone number where they don't like me and they call me the girl that blinks too much, because I sent everyone to that phone number for a period of time, because for a period of time they were transferring people to customer service for me. And then they got very angry at me. Okay. You've been back and forth between the both of us. Thank you. We appreciate that. Shelly and I are buddies now, and there is no competitive edge there. We're happy if you watch either one of us. Okay. All right, bounty hunters at 4:38. Call right at 8 a.m. Listen to all the prompts. They will answer. Call right at 8 a.m. You get reps that are at home. Yeah, so a lot of people like calling in right in the morning to try to get in. I get a lot of people reporting success around the 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock time frame as well. Kind of people run out of steam at that point in time. Unfortunately, there's not any great time to call in. So call in. You can try the 134 trick that Michael is posting in the chat. You can try Claimer if that's a fit for you, and Michael can share that link. And if you can't get through, which I'm glad that you're getting through, bounty hunters, but if you can't get through, contact your assembly member. Okay, scrolling down. Tracy, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. All right. Shelly, do you have any info on this?
Not specifically, but I did have somebody tell me in my live the other day. I said, "Are you sure it's an in-person interview? Because from my knowledge, most of the EDD offices are still closed." And she said, "No, it for sure says an in-person interview." So I do think those are starting to reopen, and I do think that they'll be open. They're probably going to want to stay closed for the rest of the year, because there's a lot of angry people that definitely want to go protest outside of their offices. But I think come June 15th, they're going to have to face the public and let us in to air our grievances with them in person. So yeah, I think they're going to open.
All right. Rockers, thank you very much. We really appreciate you. All right, Rosalie at 4:41. My husband forgot to report wages. We've tried to contact the EDD, but no success. What happens now? We've sent 13 emails. Okay, so you've sent emails. That's important Make sure you save them. Even if you think that they are saved in your email server, take a screenshot, save it, and then back it up in a second location. Like Google Photos is free, so back it up somewhere in a cloud just in case. Because if he made efforts to correct it on his own and you have a date stamped on there that he made every possible effort to contact the EDD, then you did not commit any sort of intentional fraud and you have the proof to show that. He made the steps necessary in order to try to correct it. Now, if you've contacted them and you sent them emails on Contact Us, you should go over to Ask EDD because there is a feature on Ask EDD to correct a certification. So try doing it that way, and it's askedd.edd.ca.gov. All right, Shelly, 4:42 p.m.
Received insurance award in mail. Got EDD account number. It says to register to check it on UI, but I have one for the old claim that expired. How do I check this new claim? It's been 3 weeks since I filed the new one. So it's my understanding that even though they're mailing a new account number, that it's not actually a new number, that once you're assigned an account number, that's going to be your EDD account number till the end of time. That's why, I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but some people were having issues pop up from claims from 2018 or 2017 in 2020 when they were filing, because your account number follows you forever, as best I can tell. So you should just be able to log on like you always did and check. Now, since you're saying it's been 3 weeks since you filed a new claim, I'm guessing that you mean it's been 3 weeks since you've been paid since you filed the new claim. So in that case, it's time to call them and see if they can push those payments through, or reach out to your assembly member and see if they can help you get those payments pushed through, and make sure to let them know you're experiencing financial hardship.
Okay. Just going to put this one on the screen.
I was making
Kelly's Million says, no, I'm going to read it. Let me read it. Kelly's Million says, sorry if I'm making strange faces. The gardener is at the house next door, and I'm not sure if it's loud and if you can hear it. I did hear it. And yesterday in my video too, I had Nora in here, like in this tiny little office that I'm in, because I needed to film something, and she was sitting on the couch eating tortilla chips, and like throughout my video you can hear her crunching the whole video, so it's a little Easter egg. So yes, I heard your gardener a little while ago. I did not see her faces though.
I felt like I was making like funny faces at an inappropriate time, like when someone was telling us about their struggle. So I just want everyone to know that I would not do that while you're talking about your struggles. I was like, oh my God, can everybody hear? It's not actually my gardener. It's just I live in Los Angeles and the houses are right on top of each other here. So sorry about that. And sorry about the faces, not about your hardship.
Okay, Andy Sanchez at 4:43. Why is the system only for mothers and never fathers? Thank you for all your help and updates. Really make my day better. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You're very welcome. I'm not understanding your question here. So you're going to need to elaborate down in the chat box, and I'm going to look out for that. Shelly, do you know?
I do know a little bit of Andy's story. He had a court date. He is trying to, I'm not sure if it's get custody of his son, but definitely get rights to see his son more than he has. And he was really looking forward to that. So,
That's really hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. So good luck, Andy. Don't give up and don't lose hope. And know that in your heart you're wanting the right thing.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you knew more information on that.
Yeah.
And good luck, Andy. All right, Mickey. Hi, Mickey. Hello, Ginny and Shelly. Hold on, breaking my computer. Get out of here, box. Hello, Ginny and Shelly. Why sometimes when I certify for 1 week and next thing I certify for 2 weeks? Thank you. Okay, so yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. This is one thing that Shelly and I both don't really understand. Why sometimes they have you certifying 1 week and then sometimes 2 weeks. The only thing that I can explain would be if you're at the end of a certification, at the end of like an extension cycle, and you only have 1 week left before they cut off those benefits due to a deadline, then that would sometimes result in 1 week. Or if you certify, sometimes it's a partial payment because you're getting your balance all the way down to zero. But for those of you that are having 1 week to certify only and it's not explained by that, unfortunately, we don't really have a reason for that. I've heard Shelley state before that sometimes if you call in and push through a certification for you due to it noting that you're having a hardship, that sometimes that comes through as just 1 week and that might mess up your certification cycle. Shelley, is that correct?
That is correct that I've heard that. I don't know if everybody knows this. I think you know this. I moderate on an unemployment Facebook message board. And that seemed to be the trend there, that when you do claim financial hardship, it does kind of open up some tools for the reps to push through at least one payment for you. But when they do that, it may trigger it to go to weekly certifications. But I haven't been able to find any concrete information that backs that up. So yeah, I'm not sure, but it's a theory.
Okay. I'm almost out of water. What do I do?
Well, I mean, we're not plugging things and we're not taking donations, but you should get yourself one of these coldest water bottles and you should use code millions to get yourself.
Can you pour it over the internet in my cup? Okay. I am at the 4:45 timestamp. This one's yours, Shelley.
Was randomly selected for extensive background check and would take about 6 weeks, still waiting. Awful way to find people who may be committing fraud as I continue to suffer. Have you heard about this? I have not heard about random extensive background checks. All new claims have to go to a third party for review, and it can take between 2 and 6 weeks. So that may be what they're talking about. Or Jenny, you were mentioning the triggers that do cause them to look into
the multiple claims in a household, if your address verification has any questions, etc. I have had some claimants reporting recently that they have had to be kind of sent back out for additional review. And I assume that it's through Thomson Reuters again, but I'm not certain. Okay, let's see. Was there anything else you needed to add about that one?
No.
I would say contact your assembly member as well, which we both keep saying repeatedly in here. So hopefully all of you guys are taking that away. I also saw one question in the chat as I'm looking over at more recent comments. Someone asked, can you elaborate on why you would contact an assembly member? And I think that's a good question. So I'm going to, not that any of your questions are bad questions, but I think that's one that we haven't touched on in this live yet. So we keep recommending contacting assembly members, but we're not saying why exactly. So to clarify on that, assembly members, Michael can drop the link in the chat box right now. Assembly members are state lawmakers. You can also contact your senators, your California senators, which you can find in the same link. But the assembly members have been the most helpful California state representatives in general with getting these issues, number one, fixed on the claimant level. So advocating for individual claimants and talking to the EDD. They have a liaison assigned to each office, and each office seems to have a weekly call with this liaison. And they also will fix issues, etc. So what they do is they intake your information. When you call into their office, all the assembly members are going to be at different levels of helpfulness because this essentially isn't their job, but they have taken it upon themselves as advocating for their constituents and helping them solve statewide problems. So it kind of is and isn't their job. So they're going to ask you for an intake form to fill out or information to submit. They're going to ask you for your social security number, your customer account number. With that information, the EDD will then let them advocate for you on behalf of your claim. So they will follow up with the EDD. So if you can't get through to call the EDD, contacting your assembly member allows them to forward your issues over to their higher level liaison at the EDD, who can then, in many cases, work to fix the problems or get it fixed faster in some cases. In other cases, they can't do much. But for many people that are stuck in pending or have other issues and can't get through, it's been extremely helpful. Additionally, they're the ones that are proposing and voting on EDD reform bills in the California state legislature. So Senate bills and Assembly bills are the reform bills that we're seeing for changing the EDD in the long term. So we recently had several bills passed that were proposed because you guys are contacting your Assembly members, because they are aware of these issues. So continue to contact them for those two reasons. All right, we are at 4:47 in the timestamps. If you have not had your question answered and I've skipped over your question, we can't get them all. We get as many as we can, but re-ask your question every 15 minutes. Okay, Shelly, this one's for you.
Are there any updates on California waivers for people who might have to repay? Not that I've heard in a long time. The waivers are supposed to take place if you get an overpayment notice and the overpayment occurred due to no fault of your own, and if it would, this is not the exact wording, but basically if it would create extreme financial hardship for you to pay the funds back, that potentially an overpayment could be waived. That is something that goes to a judge. That is a lengthy process to get those waived. Some people prefer to go ahead and make the payment plan to repay that. So yeah, that's the latest I've heard. Do you have anything newer, Jenny?
I do, but it's not officially decided on by the state of California. So the Department of Labor released new guidance on overpayment waivers. California EDD has not stated anything about this yet. I asked them. Well, first, let me explain. The Department of Labor issued guidance about 2 weeks ago, and I did a video on this. That guidance told the state unemployment departments their options on what they could choose for implementing an overpayment waiver. Essentially, there are 3 different options. Number 1 is that they do not provide an overpayment waiver. Number 2 is that they waive, they can do it on like a case-by-case basis where people have to apply. And then number 3 is that people can apply for some overpayments depending on the type, and they can issue blanket waivers, which means that if there is a certain type of overpayment that was not fraudulent and not the fault of the claimant, that they may qualify for a blanket waiver, meaning that they can issue that to everyone that falls under that without the need for them to apply. So there's 3 different options. Now, I asked the EDD because media departments started communicating with me, although not in a way that's been productive, but it's better than nothing, so I'm happy. And I asked them, that was one of the questions I asked them. Department of Labor issued this guidance. What is the EDD going to choose out of these 3 options? And he wrote back, we have no updates on this. So yeah, more info, but it's still vague, unfortunately. All right. Going down, I'm at 4:47 in the timestamp. Celia says, I need a phone interview due to my old employer saying I quit, which I did because when I was furloughed, I became homeless and had to move out of state. Am I going to get denied when I have my interview? Okay, so you're going to have a phone interview. You had to quit. You were furloughed and you were collecting unemployment, and then you became homeless. I'm very sorry to hear that. And then you had to move out of state. So if you left your job due to the pandemic, it's a pandemic-related reason, and you have it well documented that a pandemic-related reason is what caused you to quit your job, then I do believe that you would still be eligible. However, if the reason that you gave of why you left was not pandemic-related, then you may be denied. Now, with that being said, this technically is a pandemic-related situation, but how you explained it in your notice that you gave to them, I'm assuming you gave a written notice. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that it included in it a pandemic-related reason for why you left. So it's going to depend on the exact specifics of your claim and your termination notice that you gave, I do believe. All right, Shelly, 450.
My Fed Ed claim ended and went to $0 balance. Called the EDD, put me on a PEUC extension of 11 weeks. The new balance showed and I certified, but no payments. Not even pending. Been 1 week. Wait longer. No, something's off with that to me. I wouldn't wait on that. I would call them and find out now. So you certified, but no payments. What does the status say? Does it say certification received? Like, what is it saying next to those 2 weeks? Yeah, I would call them on that because whatever that is not not a common issue that I'm aware of. So I would call them.
Okay, so Shelly, I see that you mentioned that the press release came out, and I'm looking at it right now.
I noticed that because somebody in the chat said June 5th is when they're going to do the automatic filing.
This just came out.
So yeah, that's the big news there. So shout out to your viewer that I don't know where they went. Oh, Roy.
They always release it sometime between like 2 p.m. They release their press release in their newsroom sometime between 2 p.m. and the next day on Friday. So usually Shelly and I just refresh the newsroom every 15 minutes on Thursdays. So what is here is that for individuals, we'll each do videos on this, but in short, we have been referencing that they will be automating the need to file a new claim if you're UI, PEUC, or Fed Ed, and you did not work within the last 18 months, that they had an automation for this where you wouldn't have to file a new claim. They will do it for you if you didn't work, and that it's coming. So this press release says that will be effective on June 5th. So we'll each provide more information on that later. Okay. I jumped way down. Hold on. All right, I'm at 457. Shelly, is it you or me? I don't even know.
I don't know.
All right, I'll do this one.
Okay.
457. Hello, ladies. I already filed for a new claim. Got the letter of denial for the new claim, and I'm still pending on my old claim 3 weeks after refiling. What should I do? So if you got a letter of denial, you are halfway through the process of actually getting paid. You first get the letter of denial saying that you don't qualify for a new claim. And then usually about a week later, you'll receive a second letter. And that is going to state that you've been awarded an extension on your old claim. Because you don't have that letter yet based on your comment here, I'm guessing, you're waiting on that letter next. It's weird that they send them in 2 different phases and it's confusing. So wait until that next letter comes. And then about a week after you receive that letter, you should have your balance and your ability to certify because they're extending your old claim. All of those pendings should move to paid if you had pending on your old claim because they're just extending that old claim. So hopefully that should come through soon for you. All right. Let's see. That's not a question. Rosalie, thank you. You're more knowledgeable than 70% of EDD employees. Thank you. So sometimes we get people that watch our channels that are EDD employees. Sometimes they have things to say about us that aren't great, but sometimes they watch our channels to get information too, is what I get a lot of feedback on. Whoa, hello, YouTube. Live. And unfortunately, that's the situation with the training with EDD. They're very inconsistently trained, and we have a wide variety of skill levels within their representatives, and we have tier 2 reps who take 9 months to train with like a extremely long handbook. So it's hard, and I know that I would not want that job. I would not take that job. I will forever be self-employed. Shelly, would you want that job?
I would not want that job. I am back to my employer and still doing YouTube, but I wouldn't want that job either. I feel like there's just like a lot of red tape. Like comments that I get on my channel a lot are like, why don't they fix this? Or how do we let them know? Like they know that there's a problem. Yeah. So I don't know how to fix computer issues, and a lot of these things are computer programming issues. So what I would do the same thing probably Rita is doing, which is telling the IT team to fix it. And I don't know. Outside of that, I wouldn't know how to fix a computer issue, unfortunately, either.
You guys would not like us if we were the directors. Then all your anger would be directed towards us.
Yeah.
So we're doing you a much better service this way. Okay. Let's see. This isn't quite a question. Pretty sure if I contacted my assembly member here in the 50th District of Republican Stronghold in San Diego, he'd probably tell me to stop being lazy and get a job. I hope that would not be their response to you. Contact them and see what they say. I'm interested to hear what your assembly member says. Okay, Shelly, here you go.
Any new changes as far as being back to work, but not having my full hours? How do I report? I'm trying to search both of your videos about it. Thanks, ladies. So you're just going to report those earnings if it's from a W-2 employer in the week that you earned them. So if you started a new job and you went to paid training today and you certify Sunday, you would report the paid training when you certified this coming Sunday, even if you haven't been paid for that yet. And it's possible that you might still receive some benefits if you're back to work part-time. The EDD does not count the first 25% of what you make. Or if you make under $100, they don't count the first $25 of what you make. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny, but if you're self-employed, like if you were a W-2 employee, but now you're driving for Uber or something like that, or you've taken your course on wedding photography and now you're doing that, you report your self-employment earnings the week in which you get paid. That's correct, right?
Correct.
And self-employed do get to report net earnings as well. Is that correct?
They do. There's an EDD video that very clearly shows that, but you have to really dig to find it. And they don't state that on their website. But there is a video that very specifically says in there, unless you are self-employed and then do net. So there's a video that shows that because your claim is based on net as a self-employed individual. Because if you're like me and you're self-employed, I keep a fraction of what I take in because I'm paying out independent contractors, I'm paying out employees, I'm paying for oftentimes a studio overhead, which is thousands of dollars a month, et cetera. So there's a ton that you don't take away. So that's why it's different for independent contractors and self-employed individuals. Okay, is there anything else you wanted to say on that question? Or are we ready for the next one?
I think we can move on to the next one.
Okay. Danny Girl at 507, called to confirm my customer number for assembly member because I had 6 months, no pay, couldn't resolve that, got their attention. Asked me to wait 2 to 3 days. Everything was fixed in less than 24 hours. I'm really glad to hear that. Contact your assembly members if you're having trouble. I'm really glad to hear you're paid. Okay, Slow Ride. Unfortunately, this is the only question I see from you right here. 507, trying to shoot a tip to get your questions answered. So yes, we've turned off donations, super stickers, super chat in this stream so that we can just get as many from the chat box as we can. So continue to type in your question every 15 minutes and we'll do our best to answer as many as we can. Callie Girl, you're very welcome. I'm glad you guys like seeing Shelly.
Yes.
It's fun to do it with Shelly. Okay, let's see. Says, hi, Shelly.
Hello.
All right. Thank you for answering your question. You're very welcome. Okay. You guys sure are telling us thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Poison Garcia says, thanks to both of you. But let me tell you, on this extensions, nobody is getting them automatically as of right now. Everybody who thinks they are will find out after 2 weeks at zero balance it isn't true. So I have videos on this that you, if you were not automatically awarded the extension, what to do, because many people were waiting the whole time, patient as you could, patiently waiting for them to apply that extension from the stimulus bill when it was passed. And there was that long wait period for PEUC to wait, and then it never came. Now when we reached that deadline, that self-imposed deadline where they said, we'll have this finished by this date, and then they never made any mention of it. I had a reporter from, I think it was KTVU, reach out because they wouldn't talk to me. And their response back to him was, we finished it early. And they like gave themselves a high five. They did not finish it early. So if you don't receive an extension within 2 weeks of hitting 0, then I recommend that you call into customer service. With that being said, you may not have received yours automatically, and I'm really sorry to hear that. I still am receiving the majority of people receiving once they hit 0, i.e. those people that weren't waiting all that time for that long extension. When people hit 0, they are still seeing these come through automatically in many cases, not in all cases. So if you are waiting too long at 0, then yes, definitely call into customer service or contact your assembly member. Okay, Shelly, 5:08 p.m. This one is for you.
All right. Claim expired 5/8. Applied for a new claim on 5/9. Received an award. Sacramento 5/18. Standard base period was 1/1/20 through 12/31/20. Just received notice of invalid claim dated 5/14. Riverside per section 1277. No wages. Okay. So basically the 1277 invalid claim letter, it's actually kind of good news. It means that an extension is going to be applied to your existing claim and that you'll qualify for benefits on that existing claim through September 4th. Even if you got the award letter. Jenny, I don't know if I shared this with you. In my situation, even though the EDD tweets said that you would get an award letter first and then the invalid claim letter, for me, it happened opposite. So first I got an invalid claim letter, then I got an award letter. So you might think, oh, well, I'm getting this new award amount, but no, you're not. If you get that invalid claim letter at any point after you file a new claim, that's going to take precedent over the award letter. So now they should be adding the extensions to your existing claim. But once you file the new claim, which you did on 5/9, your claim goes through a review process by a third party. That should be complete by now. So if you have not been paid since 5/9, you are going to want to either call the EDD or reach out to your assembly member to have them help push those payments through.
Okay. All right. We are at 5:14 in the chat. My balance says 0 after, I think we already saw this one earlier on. After barely being approved, after waiting almost a year, now it says not paid. Maybe that is a different question. So if you were approved, after being approved, so your balance is 0. You were approved, waiting almost a year, and now some of them say not paid. So if you were approved for a new claim and you received that approval letter, how long has it been? Because usually you'll receive the approval letter and then about a week later is when your UI online updates and you have a new balance, and then you're able to certify and get paid. Now, if you have old pending certifications on an expired claim, those would be the ones that would move to pending and then eventually not paid because you certified on an expired claim. Those usually do not migrate automatically over to your new claim. So I'm guessing that the not paid are the certifications that you certified for when the claim was expired. So in your case, if you just received your letter, I would wait a week to have it populate in UI Online. However, if you've already been waiting and it's not populating, then I would call into customer service.
Can I just chime in and say this is one of my pet peeves? It seems like the EDD doesn't like after you file a new claim, if you're qualified, why doesn't it load that one up for you to certify on? Why would it allow you to certify on one that is going to say not paid? That drives me crazy. Sorry, pet peeve.
Yeah, me too.
We can't do anything about it.
They have so many automated procedures set up that cause so many more issues. Some of these automations, if they just disabled them, would save so many headaches and so much confusion, such as some of the letters that they mail out that are not updated for the pandemic, etc. They really need to update these things. Okay, let's see. Linda says at 5:16, confirming I heard correctly. You just said if old claim extended, certs pending on that old claim will theoretically get paid. Thanks. Yes, they should. However, not in all cases, because there is such a variety of reasons why you could be pending. Some of those pending reasons may require a call into customer service or a phone interview because they might be due to something other than just an expired claim. But if you're pending because you certified on an expired claim and that's the reason for pending, then they should automatically move to paid once your claim has been extended. But if they don't move to paid, then you would know that they're pending for another reason, such as an internal stop payment alert, something triggered in their system where you need to call in and clear it with a representative. Okay, Shelly, it's at 5:17 p.m. That one's yours.
Why did EDD send me 2 checks, then stopped sending payments? Unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for that. You would need to call them and find out why. And I really hate to even guess at this. Check on your UI online and make sure that those say paid. I have been hearing horror stories about checks getting stolen out of the mail. So I'm hoping that's not it. So check your UI online account, see if the history says that you have more payments. And if not, you'll need to call the EDD to find out what happened with that. Even if it does say paid, you'll still need to call the EDD to report those checks stolen, I would imagine.
Okay. A. Smith at 5:17 says, I had a phone interview and was told all was good and I'd be approved for an extension. Totally confusing. Okay, so if, I see your question is a two-parter. I usually can't do the two-parters because I usually can't find the second part, but I see up here. Prequel to your question. How come I keep getting emails telling me to certify for benefits, but meanwhile, I'm not getting any money? I had a phone interview and was told all was good and I'd be approved for an extension. Okay, so if you are certifying on an expired claim or you're certifying and your payments are stuck in pending and then you have to have a phone interview, they need to check and make sure that you qualify and that you're eligible to receive benefits. So you had your phone interview, so that's good. She told you that you qualify for an extension. That is also good. So that means that within the next, well, the EDD says within the next 10 days after your phone interview, you should have that decision applied to your claim. So I would allow 10 days for your pending to move to paid. But if it doesn't within 10 days, then you would call back into customer service. But it sounds like you're on the right track. It sounds like things will be fixed once they apply that to your claim within those 10 days. Okay, Shelly, that's yours.
I'm wondering if we still get the $300 if my benefit amount is only $61 a week because I got paid only for my 10 weeks that were pending. I did not get the $300. That should be included in your amount. The qualification to get the extra $300 is only that you make $1 from unemployment benefits. So I'm not sure what would cause that, but I would definitely follow up with them and ask them and see if they can pay you the rest of your money. Do you have any theories?
Yeah. No, I don't. It would just, they'd have to call in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, 5:20. I've had a data issue. As to the last rep I talked to, said the problem and issue was clear as day. After 3 months, nothing. Got through twice today, and both times hung up on, as if on purpose, and no help. I'm really sorry to hear that. The hangups, there's a lot of problems here, but the hangups are a major problem with the phone lines. This is something that I'm trying to bring to the attention of the media right now. I have my assistant, Kat, reaching out to media departments like all the time, trying to bring certain issues so that they'll talk to me. This is one problem that no one is reporting on is how frequently the calls are dropped and you guys are wasting time calling in, finally getting through, sitting on hold for hours only to have your call dropped. Now, you have had a data issue and they said that they fixed it and then went through for 3 months. I'm not sure exactly what a data issue means, but data, to me, I would try calling tech services. The tech service phone number, by the unfortunately slim chance that it's something about your UI online, your system, the data that's input there that maybe they might be able to fix for you. That's just another thing to try. So I have the tech services phone number on my 25 phone numbers to call the EDD video, which Michael can link in the chat box right now. So I would try that. But I would contact your assembly member right away. Have you contacted them? Michael can also drop the link on how to contact your assembly member. Contact them right away, see if they're able to help you. Additionally, with the dropped calls, this is not a fit for everyone, but if you are someone that wants to use Claimer, Claimer does give an insurance policy against dropped calls. So if it's worth it to you to use them when you call into customer service, if they drop your call, then they provide you with a call back. So if I had to call in, that would be worth it to me to have if I consistently have that problem. But the free option, which works for many people, is contacting your assembly member. So please make sure you contact them. Okay, let's see. Scrolling down. Here you go, Shelly.
Reapplied since my mom did work during the pandemic. She was approved, but still pending since March. Please help. So again, that is going to be call the EDD and see if they can push those payments through, because an issue for March should have been fixed by now, or reach out to your assembly member and let them know that you haven't been paid, that you've been experiencing financial hardship, and see if there's anything that they can do to push those payments through.
Okay. All right, it's 5:30 right now. I think Shelly and I will probably do about 10 more minutes worth of questions. Shelly, is that good for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So we need 10 more minutes worth of questions. And let's see, we're at 5:21 in the timestamp menu. Eric Lopez says, any word of possibility of EDD being extended past September? So EDD continues on because EDD is the organization that runs unemployment. Unemployment, regular unemployment, will continue on as usual. What will end, claim week ending September 4th, will be the federal extensions for pandemic-related programs. So PUA will end, claim week ending September 4th, PEUC extensions, and the $300 boost. With that being said, the programs that continue would be regular UI, so your 26 weeks of unemployment insurance if you were an employee prior to the pandemic or prior to being unemployed, and Fed Ed extension can potentially continue if the unemployment rate of the state is 6% or above. If it dips below that, there's a possibility that it can continue based on another calculation, which I go over in a Fed Ed video because it's more complicated. So Fed Ed is a possibility if you qualify. Now, will PUA, PEUC, and the $300 boost be extended? We would need to have additional stimulus legislation passed and signed into law in order for that to continue. So at this point in time, we do not have that. All right, we did that. Scrolling down over here. All right, we are at 5:29 in timestamp. Here you go, Shelly.
I don't understand why I was fraudulently done bad for the first 4 months of the pandemic payment. Then I was able to. They said I reinstated a claim, and they are now telling me I've...
Oh, I chose you on that.
Uh-oh.
Difficult. Hold on. Okay, well, I don't see the rest of your comment here, my friend. Do we have any comments based on what we do have here? I don't think so. Mary Kay, you're going to have to reiterate your question in a more clear way, unfortunately. And I'll look for it in the chat down below. But if you want to clarify everything into one neat little package, then we'll do our best to answer it. And I'll be on the lookout for that. Yeah. Shelly, I'm going to give you another one. Here you go.
Please help.
Alternative.
Please help. I filed a new claim after the old benefit year ended. I got an invalid letter 1277, but then got an award letter with a new EDD account number. Do I create a new UI login, or can I keep the same old one? You're actually going to keep the same old one, even though it says it's a new account number. It's actually the same account number. It's kind of like how most of us also got letters from the EDD after filing a new claim asking us if we wanted checks or an EDD debit card. It's kind of just auto-generated, but once your account number, always your account number, even if you become unemployed in 3 years from now, it's still going to hold on to that old same account number. So yeah, just keep logging on with your existing information and getting on and handling your claim that way.
Okay. Okay, 5:30. Is there a way you can speak to a manager? So when you call into EDD customer service, the first person that answers the phone is a tier 1 representative. These are individuals that have a variance of skill levels and training, is how I will phrase that. Some of them may provide you different answers, different levels of assistance, etc. So in many cases, you may want to ask to speak to a tier 2 representative. The audit report identified these as being called EPR agents, but the common nomenclature for it is a tier 2 representative. So those are the individuals that are a rank above that can handle the higher level issues. So when you call in, you ask to speak to a tier 2 representative, but know that you're going to have to sit on a hold line for about anywhere between 2 hours to 4 hours. The hold line for a tier 2 rep, unfortunately, does drop calls very frequently. So be advised that may occur. Now, with that being said, if you cannot get through and get the help that you need, contact your assembly member. And Michael can drop the link on how to locate that in the chat box. All right, let's see. Shelly, this is for you.
I've been dealing with this since January. I've sent numerous emails and calls to Newsome, ID.me, and EDD. No help from any of them. Please, please, please help me. This is a PUA account. So it sounds like you're having a problem with getting paid. I do notice that you said that you called Newsome. Your local assembly member is actually going to have a greater chance of being able to help you. So Jenny's assistant, Michael, will link that one more time. And instead of calling, email, that way there's a written trail. You can also try using Ask EDD and Contact Us. But outside of that, there's not really I don't have any magic tricks to help fix a claim, but be persistent. Don't give up hope, because I do get a lot of people saying, oh my God, I'm so happy. I just got paid for 17 weeks. So don't give up, and hopefully it'll all end soon and favorably with payments.
Yeah, I want to add one more thing here. I know that you noted here ID.me is someone you're trying to get help from. So that tells me that you might have an identification problem with ID.me verifying your identity. There's 2 things that you can try if it's an ID issue. Number 1 would be to send out a tweet, which sounds really stupid. But go on Twitter. If you don't have an account, make an account and send a tweet to Blake Hall. Blake Hall, who is the CEO of Twitter, and it's CEO of Twitter, the CEO of ID.me. Yes. And it says that on his Twitter. So that's how you know you're tweeting the right person, Blake Hall. And his team will respond to you and give you customer service if you send them a tweet. Additionally, you can call the ID department at EDD. And I have that phone number in my 25 EDD phone numbers video. Michael, can you drop the link? So try calling those 2 if it's an ID issue, because I see that you noted that there. Okay. Let's see. Linda, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Hannah says, hi, Ginny and Shelly. Would it be worth it to do a few segments on the CUIAB? How many appeals in each location? How far behind are they? Okay. I'm guessing California Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board. Okay, I figured it out. How many appeals in each location? How far behind are they? In May 2021 board meeting on YouTube, 900,000 cases expected. Okay, so I have a series of videos with a law firm called Pershing Square Law, who works specifically with EDD appeals claimants to advocate for them and help them to through their appeals process. So I do have a video specifically on appeals, and it's the information. It's me Zooming with one of the attorneys on the firm, and he answers a series of questions and provides information about the appeals process. So that go watch that video because it's interesting and it provides a lot of information on a higher level of expertise than what I can offer. Additionally, if you want to contact Pershing Square Law, then you can contact them and they will do a free consultation for you in which they will answer questions for you. So if you're undergoing the appeals process, contact them because you might be able to get some assistance from them, even if you don't hire them on as your representation. Now, I don't have information on the appeals board in terms of how far behind they are, et cetera. That's not something that I'm reporting on right now. Shelley, I don't think you have information on that either.
No, but I have a friend who personally went through it. It took him 10 weeks to get his initial appointment. And then, wouldn't you know it, the EDD did not send the appeals judge a form that they needed. And so the judge had to reschedule for 5 more weeks after the initial 10 weeks. The appeal process just takes, I don't have hard and fast numbers, but they're very far behind. That would be my answer.
Okay. Oh, Shelley, I see this is the gig work one. Do you want me to take this?
That's all you.
All right. T. Barron at 535 says gig jobs and made anywhere from $3,000 to $9,000 a month. Basically, I qualify for $450 a week, and the EDD is only paying me $96 a week, which is actually cut in half to $48 a week because in 2015, I lived out of state. Someone committed UI fraud on me and collected $3,000 in benefits. I'm stuck paying that back. I worked self-employed until April when I got something and COVID, I'm guessing, and couldn't work anymore. I messaged. Okay, there's a lot here. Let's unpack this. Okay, so gig jobs should have qualified you for $450, but you're receiving a much smaller benefit due to the fact that you are subject to overpayments. Is it 100% due to that? I'm guessing. You couldn't work anymore. Okay, so essentially you're paying back benefits because of unemployment fraud. Contact your assembly member right away. I would contact your assembly member right away and get them helping you. Michael can drop the link down below. Additionally, if you need to go through the appeals process, the law firm that I just mentioned might come in handy to you. I'm not sponsored by them. I just did a series of videos with them, but it's Pershing Square Law, and you can contact them and see if you can get a consultation from them because you have a very difficult problem here. So I would contact your assembly member right away and try to get them to help you. Okay. Let's see. Shelley, this is for you.
I have been trying to get retro pay from when I first filed in March of 2020. Will they still do it? It seems impossible. I haven't gotten a single check from March to December of 2020. That is a really long time, but as long as you started trying to get the process of those funds, it is possible. What have they told you is the reason that you didn't get any money from March all the way till December? That's almost like the whole pandemic. That's the whole time. So I imagine by this point you've called them. So what have they said? And I would be persistent because I have heard stories still of people who have had claims that were not being paid, and then finally they released those payments, even from a long time ago. I'm not sure all the way back to March of 2020, though.
Okay. All right, Angel at 537 says, when you run out of your first EDD extension, do they automatically add the second one? So if you are within your benefit year, UI, PEUC, Fed Ed, you're within your benefit year, 12 months after your claim start date, when you reach 0, they should automatically apply the next extension for you. About a week later, you should receive a letter in the mail stating that you've been awarded an extension. And then usually about a week after that, you have the ability to certify, and the balance is either loaded or it comes right after you certify. Now, if they do not do that within 2 weeks, then call into customer service, because many are reporting that they're not automatically receiving the extensions applied within the last few months. So it should be automatic. In many cases it is, but if for some reason it doesn't come through in 2 weeks, then contact customer service. Okay, scrolling down. We're gonna do 5 more minutes of questions. And I hear my husband playing a guitar downstairs, so if it gets loud, I'm sorry. To my viewer that asked, are you at the Metallica concert? Yes. Yet? You asked that yesterday? Yes, you are. Playing downstairs. All right. Shelly.
Do we know if it's necessary to open a claim again after it's been done, but got notified to do so? I'm still pending for over 8 weeks now. As far as I know, that was a glitch. If you filed a new claim, you should not need to file another new claim. But since you've been pending for over 8 weeks now, it is time to call and try and get those payments pushed through, or reach out to your assembly member and get those payments pushed through.
Okay. Robin at 543 says, hi ladies, my benefit year ended 4/19. I refiled on 5/7. I have only got an invalid claim notice on my old claim. I am now pending on 6 weeks. I am a single mom. I need help. What should I do? Okay, so your benefit year ended 4/19. You refiled on 5/7. And you got an invalid claim notice and you're still pending. Okay, so you received the invalid claim notice. That's the first step if you don't qualify for a new claim. So what's going to happen next is you're going to receive about a week later another notice stating that you do qualify to have your old claim extended. It's unfortunate that these two notices come separately and spaced out, but that's their process. They deny the new claim first, and then they apply a PEUC extension to your old claim. So the extension is going to be applied to your old claim, and it's going to allow you to collect up until claim week ending September 4th. With that being said, PEUC is awarded in 3 different phases. So the first phase is 13 weeks. The second phase is 11 weeks. The third phase is 29 weeks, but they can all only be used until claim week ending September 4th when the program ends. So they're going to award you whatever phase you're at, and then you're going to see the balance there about a week after you get that notice. So that, I think you're in good shape because you got that invalid claim notice, and then next will come the extension. Okay, all right, we're going to do one last question for Shelly and then one last question for me, and then we will be all done. All right, Shelly, there you go.
Help, please. I filed a new claim, got an award letter with the new EDD number. How long for my new amount gets updated onto my old EDD UI online account? It should only, the third-party review that all claims go through once you file that new claim is only supposed to take between 2 and 6 weeks maximum. After about week 3 of pending, after you file your new claim, you should be able to call the EDD and have them help push those payments through. And if they can't, or if you can't get through to the EDD, reach out to your assembly member by email and see if they can help push those payments through. So really, anytime after 2 weeks, all the way up to a maximum of 6 weeks.
Okay, Liz, and this is going to be our last question for today because I have kids downstairs. I got to go down there, make them some dinner. All right, Liz says, I got stuck on pending this week. I talked to a tier 2, said I didn't report a check of $267 I got on April 2020. They said I have to wait for an interview or send my pay stubs. What should I do? Okay, so yes, you are required to report any work or income that you earn. So your employer is required to report your earnings. So if you did not report that, did you try to report it? Do you have any sort of documentation trying to change that certification maybe? Because that would be useful if you do have that. But you are going to have to undergo a phone interview, and they want you to send pay stubs. So comply with those requirements. If you have pay stubs, then go ahead and send that over as they have directed you. Now, the thing to know about phone interviews is that unfortunately they're taking a significant amount of time to get scheduled. Some claimants are reporting them as soon as 2 weeks, but the majority of subscribers are reporting back, and Shelly, let me know if you are hearing this as well, between 6 weeks and 10 weeks to have their phone interview scheduled. So is that what you're hearing as well in terms of time frame?
It is. I do want to say, though, that there are some cases, like, for example, I had one viewer tell me that they had answered that they were unable to accept work due to lack of childcare. And so that caused the claim to need a phone interview.
Mm-hmm.
And when they called the representative was like, well, what about now? Would you be able to accept work now? And my viewer said, yes, because now that my relatives and friends and family have been vaccinated, I do have options for people to watch my child now. And then that rep, based on that conversation, was able to remove the pending flag and get my viewer paid. So even if you have a phone interview, it still might be worth it to call the EDD and find out what the phone interview is for. Maybe with the right rep, they might be able to do something to help you. But I am getting that really long timeline, which is really unfortunate. And the EDD did send out that tweet that said sometimes they are going to be able to verify eligibility without needing the phone interview, and then they'll just update the claims automatically. So I never trust the EDD when they say automatic, but it is maybe worth it to follow up with them, find out exactly what the phone interview is going to be for, and seeing if now that the EDD is kind of changing things, if they might be able to push those payments through.
Okay, you guys. All right. That was our last question. So I have to go downstairs, take care of my kids. So you guys, I want you to head over to Shelly's Millions channel. Michael, can you drop the link to Shelly's channel? And click subscribe to her. She provides great information in a similar niche right now during the pandemic. So head over, click subscribe to her. Yeah, like the video. And you guys, if we did not get your question today, we answer as many as we possibly can. Shelly, share the days that you stream live for Q&A.
I go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. and every Monday night at 6 p.m.
Okay, and then I do a live stream on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. and I usually have another one that floats around. Additionally, if I post a new video, as soon as I post it, I stay in the video comments for the next 30 minutes to an hour, answering all the questions that are posted there as much as I can. So the fastest way to get a response from me is click the notification bell next to subscribe. And then as soon as I post a video, even if it's on an unrelated topic, post your question there, and I'll do my best to answer as many as I possibly can. Okay, you guys. Cindy, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Robin, you're very welcome. Okay, you guys. And thank you to Michael. Yes.
I just want to thank you again for having me on your channel and doing this. I always have fun talking with you. We always end up talking way too long. I enjoy talking to both of our viewers and subscribers. And yeah, it's just always a pleasure. So thank you again for having me on tonight.
Yeah, I really appreciate you. What you guys didn't see was that Shelly and I went on for a test right before this, and it was supposed to be like a 5-minute test, and we stayed on the call for like 40 minutes. And then we're like, we might want to go and get presentable. So, okay, you guys. All right. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys next time.